Welcome everyone to the award ceremony of the first annual Asynchronous tournament. We are super excited to be here. It has been a lot of work getting into all of this and just stoked that this is all coming together. The fact that this many teams all got to participate and this many students, it's been huge. So as with most tournaments, I want to start off with a couple of thank yous. The first and probably biggest thank you is to Danny Cantrell with ForensicsTournament.net. Danny is the man. Not only has been running other tournaments, but he worked tirelessly to help us make this tournament possible. He actually invented new software just to make this asynchronous tournament happen. So a huge, huge thank you to Danny Cantrell. One thing also that we noticed is that, like, unlike a regular award ceremony, clapping won't be a thing. We won't be able to hear you at a distance, but we're still going to clap anyway. So thank you, Danny Cantrell. Next up, I wanted to thank Blake Longfellow and Hired Judge. So Blake is a coach at Diablo Valley College, but his project at Hired Judge has been invaluable in making this whole thing happen. He has been super helpful as a resource in bringing us additional judges and making sure that this whole asynchronous process happens. So thank you to Blake Longfellow. I also wanted to thank all of the coaches that participated in this crazy experiment. Obviously, we are all in some wacky circumstances, and I think that it really speaks to the power of the forensics community that this many people all came together to make this happen. So to all of the coaches that participated from all the schools in 3 different states, thank you so much, and we are so excited to have you join us. And lastly, I also wanted to thank the students for adapting and making this thing happen. Everyone has different circumstances that they're dealing with. Everyone has finals that they're having to take online and crazy stuff. So to have adapted your speeches, your outstanding performances, the things that we got to see in your submissions were incredible. And to make that happen really speaks to the power of this event and just how dedicated you are to it. So thank you all for sharing your talents with us. Now, the final person that I wanted to thank is the person that has put in a ludicrous number of hours in making this happen, like early mornings, late nights for literally months at this point, from just coming up with ideas and coordinating with people all across the country down to finally making this very award ceremony happen. So we're going to thank and join me in welcoming your tournament director, Director of Forensics at Santiago Canyon College, Jared Kubica Miller.
Hey, thank you very much, Tim, for that introduction. Tim's going to help me behind the scenes right now, and I'm going to take over. Thank you so much, Tim. Okay, so this tournament happened because I get to work with a tremendous team of people. We call ourselves ProtoCommunications, but specifically, Tim Seavey is one member of this project. He just recently has been accepted as the Assistant Director of Forensics at San Diego State University. He's been doing great work, including at this tournament. I also want to thank Matt Shapiro. He has been so helpful for so many years. It started with really me and him, and it has blossomed into something so much more. So I'm really happy for him. Right now, he's waiting on his results for the bar examination, and I wish him the best of luck. Last but not least, Rita Raphael has been my right-hand person for a very long time now. Very, very dependable, and she just got accepted into the graduate program at California State University, Long Beach. As you can tell, all of us are very involved in forensics. So this tournament was the result of a few things that we wanted to achieve. The first thing is that we wanted to celebrate the artistry of forensics competition. I was a debater through my competitive career, but I did plenty of individual events and grew a tremendous appreciation for them. And I was heartbroken when I heard about all of the national tournaments being canceled, because I know exactly how much work goes into all of these events and all the practice that you have going on. So the artistry of public speaking, I think, is something that we ought to celebrate more. And with the technology that we have, I want to do that more. We also want to serve a community that all of us value very much and has made us into the people that we are. And we wanted to introduce asynchronous competition into forensics as an addition to forensics, as something that we are able to that we are able to participate in addition to the face-to-face things that we're doing. Okay, So let me explain a little bit about how this award ceremony is going to happen. First, we wanted to push the envelope a little bit on what you expect at an awards ceremony. So there might be some people who are watching this that do not have a background in forensics. So those people who do understand, please be patient as I explain some of the events when we go through it. But what we're going to be doing is we're going to be sharing small excerpts of everybody's events that they have done, and also be giving them an opportunity to accept the awards by joining us in this stream. Now, there are a few things that could go wrong, so please bear with us. First off, the audio and video that we have collected and formatted and edited together might be a little rough, especially because we have to kind of loop it through this streaming service that we're doing right now. So please, be kind in your criticism. But secondly, we want to invite the top speakers. And so sometimes if there is a problem and they can't make it in time, then we're going to have to move on. But we wanted to give the opportunity for speakers to actually comment and give short acceptance speeches for the awards that they are getting. This is our first time and we are learning. So there may be some problems getting people backstage and things like that. But lastly, we encourage people to post comments as you go, congratulating the people that you may know. And if it's done in time, we could get them on the screen for you. So please keep on going with your comments. Thank you very much. All right. So now let's move on to the awards. All right. The first event that we are going to recognize is Duo, and then we're going to move on to communication analysis. All right. So for Duo, this is perhaps the most difficult event to adapt to this tournament. Duo has two performers that are interpreting literature at the same time. So in short, you have a synchronous event at an asynchronous tournament. Luckily, there was a couple of students that were imaginative enough to pull it off and actually submit. And even though we only have one submission, I want to recognize that. And so here is our submission.
From Las Positas College, Adriana Marquez and Elizabeth Reynolds, performing Where the Hell Is.
Come on, rage. Show me rage. Look at me and show me that you want to rip out my eyes, feed them to dogs, steal my soul and send it to Hades. Come on, give it to me.
That was our Duo submission. Unfortunately, we were unable to get either one of the performers to come here and accept. So make sure you're keeping an eye out for emails if you are in the events that are coming up, because from here on out, we would very much like to hear from the recipients of these awards, okay? Yeah, Duo is difficult to do. Duo is really difficult. All right. So the next event that we are going to do is communication analysis. After communication analysis will be informative speaking. So if you're winning awards in either one of those events, please watch your emails, okay? For communication analysis, this is the most academically challenging event of the tournament. And that's because competitors are expected to have a communication artifact that is analyzed by a model that they find through research. This is the level of research that you might expect to see at a communication conference, an academic conference that are held all across the country and the world as well. We're happy to give 2 awards for this event.
From Las Positas College, Brennan Mock, speaking on One United Power.
Colorful, and represents ideas of freedom of expression. This contrast allows their artwork to gain further notoriety online and allows their message to outlast the physical artifact.
Concordia University Irvine, Natalie Wellman, speaking on Race to Dinner.
First, the table of reckoning. Race to Dinner's goal is getting white women to reckon with their racism. The New York Times of February 26, 2019 explains. White women were prolific slave owners who held more power than previously documented. They were able to walk away from their past.
Thank you very much. Joining us now to talk about her communication analysis, Natalie Wellman.
Hi, guys.
Hey there, Natalie. Thank you so much for joining us. Hey, tell me, when did you start the process of preparing for your communication analysis?
So I actually started the communication analysis process a little bit later. I put it up around March, right before districts. I went to one tournament before districts, and then I took it to districts. I've done CA in the past, so I was like familiar with the format and things like that. But it just took a lot of time and effort in that short period of time as opposed to having it over a couple months.
Okay. Well, you know what? I want to give you an opportunity to say any sort of thank yous that you want. So the screen is yours, okay?
Thank you. Yeah, first, thank you so much to you guys for putting this tournament together. I know that this definitely wasn't the end that most of us hoped for, but I'm really happy that we were still able to come together as a community and kind of create this almost like nationals, even though it wasn't exactly the same thing. I also wanted to thank my coaches and director of forensics, Tyler, Amanda, and Claire. They've always shown me how important it is to work hard and be there for your students, which has been really encouraging, especially as I move into coaching and things like that. They've given me a great example of how to be there for your students and how to be student focused. And then also, obviously, my teammates have been amazing. They've pushed me to not only become a better performer, but have also taught me how to become a much better advocate for other people, which has made me a much better person. So I'm so incredibly grateful for everyone that's helped me in this process. It has not been a short process at all or an easy one, but I think it's been something that has impacted me a lot.
Thank you very much, Natalie. Congratulations, okay?
Thank you so much.
All right. So next, we are going to move on, and we are going to give awards for informative speaking, and then we're moving on to POI. Okay. For informative speaking, it is perhaps the easiest event to apply outside of forensics because you are supposed to talk about a single topic in depth and detail. Now that is very applicable outside of the outside of this particular situation. And the most relevant speeches are typically the ones that receive the most awards. So the most up to date and the most interesting ones are there. So without further ado, here are the informative speeches.
From Las Positas College, Brennan Mock, speaking on deep learning algorithms.
Process. However, this could easily be fixed by using quantum computers. For those of you who don't know, a quantum computer is an informative topic from the early 2000s.
From Concordia University Irvine, Ingrid Becker, speaking on transableism.
$1,000, which the state's welfare has to finance. And finally, disabilities are becoming fetishized. Whether they are aware of it or not, Those who identify as transabled are encouraging the romanticization and fetishization of disabilities.
Joining us now, Ingrid Becker.
Hi.
Ingrid, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you.
So tell me, I haven't been able to follow throughout the season. Was this speech already qualified for Nats?
Yes, it was. I
When
put
was
it up at the very beginning of the year, and so I was able to qualify it for nationals.
That is such a shame. I'm so sorry.
I know, I'm a little disappointed too.
Okay, all right. The screen is yours. Go ahead and give some thanks.
Awesome. So, yeah, this speech topic that I chose for informative speaking was something that was really, I don't know if I would say special to me, but it was a really important topic to explore and talk about, especially thinking about, body modifications and kind of asking the question, like, how far can we go? So I thought it was really interesting to talk about transableism then. And as a woman with a disability, it was also really interesting for me with my perspective to approach the topic. And throughout the year, with my informative speech, I just want to say thank you to my coaches from Concordia, Tyler, Amanda, Claire, Carl. You guys are amazing, and you helped me so much with this speech and constructing it and giving me criticism. And of course, to my teammates who are always so supportive and just listen to me like ramble the speech all the time. I just want to say thank you. And I've had a lot of fun this year with the speech. Even though the year got cut short, I'm really happy that I had the opportunity to explore it and perform it for people. So thank you.
Thank you very much. Okay. All right. Next, we are moving on to POI. Now, for people who are unfamiliar, POI is an acronym for Program Oral Interpretation. Basically, speakers are asked to find literature from multiple different genres, poetry, prose, drama, and have them all around a single central topic, a socially significant topic. And they're supposed to basically blend them together, and the result is like a collage or montage of literature. And so you get a whole lot of different characters popping in and out. It is definitely the most challenging of the oral interpretation events. And that's why we have typically limited entries. Regardless, we have 2 excellent submissions that we would like to honor right now.
From San Diego State University, Haley Stone, performing A Clever Title in Samoan.
Because we can't even pronounce our own parents' names. And who will care to remember mine if I don't teach them? I want my future children to spell family with my middle name, Heole Meli Kalani, how to feel, with Kamaka Vivioli, how to taste the culture.
From Lone Star College in North Harris, Quincy Gentry, performing Because No One Should Fear Going Outside.
We all know unfinished business is a burden on the living. And we must continue fighting through this tragedy so we can fight our hardest fight to protect our sisters from the hands of men who are weak.
Joining us now, Quincy Gentry.
Hi.
Hello, how are you?
I'm doing good. How are you?
Good. Now, how long have you been performing this piece?
Since the beginning of the season.
Is this one of the first ones that you put together?
It actually is. I think this was one of my second ones I made.
Okay, because a lot of people wait, to find. It usually takes a long time. Was this something that was brewing maybe like over the summer?
Yes. Once I had the idea over the summer, and then I got it to my coach, and then once we got it together, we just kept working on it. I mean, we worked nonstop.
All right. Hey, the screen is yours, okay?
All righty. I just want to say thank you so much to my coach, Wade Hesh, and I want to thank you for this opportunity for this tournament and I know the tournament was, our season was cut short, but I do appreciate you guys for pulling this together at the last minute. And just thank you for everything and all your hard work.
All right. Thank you very much, Quincy. All right. We're now moving on to the Persuasion Awards and then ADS. So for Persuasion, it's probably the most classic event that we have, and it gets right to the heart of the word forensics. Speakers choose a socially significant topic, and they have 10 minutes or less in order to compose a speech and try to convince their audience to take action to change the world. It's kind of a tall order for such a short speech. It's difficult sometimes, and that's why we don't always have the largest of entries in Persuasion, but for this tournament, we are offering 3 awards in this event.
From Santiago Canyon College, Mario Leal Verdugo, speaking on pay equity for women's athletics.
For channels and female sports, provide with sponsors with the right amount of data to invest their money more properly. Third, we need to click, and not only click share, but
from Concordia University, Irvine, Ashley Reynafarge, speaking on the workforce in developing nations.
Once you purchase these products, go ahead and take a picture of it. Post #humane shopping and tag that company.
From Concordia University, Irvine, Natalie Wellman, speaking on juror PTSD.
I've also created a handout that can be given to jurors, explaining what to expect before the trial and what to expect after the verdict. North Carolina currently has a jury assistance program that provides care to jurors after the trial concludes.
Joining us now again, Natalie Wellman.
Hi.
Back already. Okay, congratulations on this. So, considering you've already kind of mentioned a whole lot, what are your plans after school now? I mean, from what I understand, you're coming toward the end of your college career.
Yeah, so Concordia is actually done with school. We finished last week. So I'm planning on going to San Diego State actually and being coaching and teaching and getting my master's in communication.
You know what? I know you've already given the opportunity, but the screen is yours again.
Thank you. Honestly, I mean, thank you to all the people I previously mentioned. This has been a super awesome opportunity. I've really, really enjoyed getting to do forensics. Persuasion has always been one of my favorite events because it was my first event I competed with, and it was one of the last events I competed with as well. So if you guys want to do platforms, I would highly recommend doing them. They're some of my favorite events. So yeah, thank you so much.
Thank you very much, Natalie.
Thank you.
Okay. So now we're moving on to the ADS Awards. We have ourselves another acronym. After that, dramatic interpretation. Remember, keep an eye on your emails. ADS is short for after dinner speaking. It goes by another name, speech to entertain, and it is the only event where comedy is expected. You are expected to be funny. Now that is challenging, and it is uniquely challenging when you are in an environment with no audience. Usually the applause and the laughter kind of motivates you to go forward. So we were very happy to have as many submissions as we did, and we are awarding the top 3.
From Las Positas College, Casey Hamilton, speaking on adulting.
There's this newspaper called the Law Times from December 11, 2019, there are many opportunities for postgrads and college students to take charge of their life again.
From Concordia University, Irvine, Natalie Wellman, speaking on the cultural erasure of Kids Bop.
Did I need to watch that 14-minute video about how to make crafts out of trash? Who can say that? Why don't you ask Herman? Second.
From Concordia University, Irvine, Ingrid Becker, speaking on dating with disability.
Consider dating someone with a disability as great communication, adventure, meeting new people, finding more out about yourself, and the freebies of free parking spaces. Okay, so you guys can scratch that last one off because I am not cheap.
Joining us again, Ingrid Becker.
Hi.
Great.
Welcome.
Thank you again. We have a lot of repeats in this tournament. All right. So, what are your plans now that this is coming to an end this year?
I just graduated with my bachelor's degree in liberal studies. So the next semester I will be student teaching, and then hopefully after that I will be in my own classroom teaching elementary school. So those are kind of the next plans.
All right, elementary school. That's excellent. All right. Well, this should help out with that. So
I think so too.
Thank you very much. Congratulations again, Ingrid.
Thank you.
Okay, that was ADS. We are now moving on to dramatic interpretation, also known as DI. Dramatic interpretation is another interpretive event, kind of like program oral interpretation, but usually this involves one piece of literature, and that literature is formatted as for a live performance or a public performance. Now, sometimes people are very imaginative about what that means, but typically dramatic interpretation has more characters and perhaps more dialogue than you would get in something like prose. For this, people tend to be judged on their genuine delivery and their ability to characterize the people within their piece. We had enough entries to award 4 speakers awards for this event.
From El Paso Community College, Damaris Ostos, performing Linda.
What's that supposed to mean? Passing? Was I passing in high school? Did I not embrace who I was enough? No! I never said I was Spanish.
From Las Positas College, David Valadez, performing Willie.
I'm giving to you now. Don't back off. Take the risk and the fear and all of the joy.
From San Diego State University, Ian Morton, performing Pose.
You need to understand something. When I am standing behind that podium, I'm the one who keeps the crowd hyped. I'm the one who makes sure there is a flow to the proceedings. You don't like the music I'm playing? Don't show up.
From Lone Star College, North Harris, Quincy Gentry, performing Abortion.
Because you know what, I just can't see myself sitting here and protecting you and shielding you from all these lights and harmful sounds, only to release you after what 17 years? So you can just fly around and be killed while you was out looking for sex and love.
Joining us again, Quincy Gentry. All right, man. How are you doing?
I'm doing great.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So I'm going to give you the same question that I was giving the other repeats. What are the plans now?
I really don't know. I have to figure it out. A lot has happened over the past month, so I'm trying to figure everything out right now. But I just know I plan on continuing school. That I do know. That I know.
Well, yeah, I'm going to give you a couple of seconds to get for your own time. Okay, go for it.
Okay, I just want to say thank you again to everybody. Thank you to my coach, Wade, again, and thank you for this opportunity.
Thank you very much, Quincy. So that was drama. We're moving on to poetry. Poetry and then impromptu afterwards. Okay. So poetry as an event really doesn't require a whole lot of explanation. Perhaps no other event celebrates language in the same way that poetry does. In this particular event, people are given 10 minutes or less to perform a poetic piece, and usually they have more than one in order to put together their own sort of program of poetry. The poetry generally revolves around a single socially significant issue, and therefore the verbal and nonverbal delivery of a piece is usually what is going to determine how well somebody does. We are awarding 3 awards for this particular event.
From Las Casitas College, Adriana Marquez, performing Unseen Scars.
My dad. Is he fine? Is he safe? Or is he somewhere in some unknown place, drawing his last breath?
From Lone Star College, North Harris, Quincy Gentry, performing Our Voices Won't Be Silenced.
There ain't no poem happier than the one that proves that you are still alive, in spite of everything.
From San Diego State University, Haley Stone, performing Because Your Children Are Always Watching.
Because you see, the day you were born and the night your body became a corpse were the only days I've seen you be selfless. But I do not write poems about Mom, Dad. Even after hundreds of hours practicing away my stutter, I still feel the claw of meaning at the bottom of my throat.
I'm going to give Haley one more moment to jump on, but it was a very impressive performance. You saw her a couple of times, not just for poetry, but also for POI, which was also a very impressive performance as well. Joining us now, Haley Stone. POI, which was also a very impressive performance. Echo. Joining us now, Haley Stone. POI, which was also very impressive performance. Echo.
Sorry, you're lagging on my computer.
So which is also very impressive performance. Echo.
Sorry, you're lagging on my computer.
Okay. Also very impressive performance. Echo.
Sorry, you're lagging on my computer.
Okay. Looks like we're looping.
Sorry, you're lagging on my computer.
Okay. Looks like we're looping. Oh, I'm so sorry. I had to stop that. Yeah, sorry, Haley. You know what? Hey, come back at the end. Maybe we could get you going, okay? All right. But let's move on to our interpretation. The impromptu. Okay. So impromptu is one of the more difficult events to adapt to this type of tournament. And because impromptuers are usually given 1 to 2 minutes after they are presented with their topics in order to speak. But for this tournament, we felt that wasn't the way we wanted to go. We gave them 24 minutes, but we tried to make the topics themselves a little bit more challenging. This event was our largest entry, and therefore we are going to recognize the top 6 speakers.
From Santiago Canyon College, Colby Martin, discussing Siegel's Law.
And spend much more time in looking for something to watch rather than actually watching it, only to result in us deciding there is nothing to watch.
From Santiago Canyon College, Shalin Brombat, discussing Brandolini's Law.
Is that people who BS tend to misrepresent facts, fail to correct their own errors, and most of all, intimidate the dissenters.
From Las Positas College, Brennan Mock, discussing the Streisand effect.
Strong for me. And I'm hoping that the Streisand effect works in my favor. So come on, Jeffrey. I hate you, you're disgusting, and I hope you grow big and strong.
From California State University, Fullerton, Matthew Allengog, discussing Brandolini's Law.
Forward in the bikini bottom. But Patrick describes these hooks as the carnival, showing SpongeBob that they are nothing but harmless rides, with free cheese, of course.
From San Diego State University, Renee Owens, discussing Siegel's Law.
Jury after a murder trial. Now, at first, all of the jurors, except for one, come to the incorrect conclusion that the accused.
From San Diego State University, Ian Morton, discussing the Dunning-Kruger effect.
Higher? Today, I will be discussing the Dunning-Kruger effect, a cognitive bias that some individuals hold that, well, they have shown no natural competency for or had training for a specific task before them, they are equal to it.
Joining us, Ian Morton.
Hello. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Right.
Hey, I wanted to ask you, what did you think about those topics?
I thought they were an amazing opportunity to really sort of dive into a lot of different genres, and it threw me because I was expecting a quotation, not a quote, Tim, not a quote. And so, I mean, but it was amazing, and certainly seeing everyone's pieces, and my teammate Renee, who got second place.
Yes.
Yeah. But no, it was fun to have a little bit of extra time to sort of really think about what you could put into these impromptu speeches.
All right, I'm going to give you the screen so you have some time.
First of all, the young woman in the blue-colored shirt was Haley Stone as my duo partner, and I need to congratulate her since she didn't get a chance to talk. She got looped in. Certainly my coach, Ashley, she created a program that is so amazing and nurturing and gives us all autonomy to really speak our truth. And lastly, everyone who is in IE, having watched your pieces as a non-traditional older student, you are so bright and beautiful and just making these amazing reverberations across the globe. So thank you for everything that you've taught me. That's all I can say.
Thank you very much, Ian. Okay, so that was impromptu, and now we're moving on to our other limited preparation event, Extemporaneous. After Extemporaneous is Prose. Extemporaneous is like impromptu for this tournament in that speakers were given 24 hours once the topics were released in order to compose a speech. This speech was supposed to be 7 minutes long, but the challenge for extemporaneous speaking is that the topics revolve around current event issues, and you are supposed to support your claims with researched evidence that you cite in your speech. So typically, the people who are able to cite an appropriate number of sources within their speech are favored over those who have less. But they're also given a question in which is open-ended, and they can answer it however they want. This was also a fairly large event, and we are recognizing the top 5 speakers.
From Santiago Canyon College, Aiden Cotto, discussing the November elections.
Vote by mail. However, by making a vote by mail option universal, we could be solving this issue entirely. Furthermore, according to the Atlantic.
From California State University Fullerton, Carlos Pelayo, discussing online universities.
It's probably that by the week on March 24, which says Liberty University stays open to own the libs. Who wants to tell them that the word liberty has the word lib in it?
From Las Positas Community College, Brennan Mock, discussing disaster relief policies.
Because according to Vox on Thursday, that paycheck protection program, which I just discussed, that is meant to help tens of millions of Americans keep their jobs at small businesses, isn't working as intended.
From San Diego State University, Jana Kanan, discussing the dispute about the Nile Dam.
I propose a three-pronged solution. First, Ethiopia must halt the construction of this dam. This effectively avoids a war.
From Las Positas Community College, David Valadez, discussing Libya's civil war.
That same civil war. Libya has a certain place and role in geopolitics, and the general promises that he'll fulfill those obligations and strike that balance. And because of those two factors coming together, we're brought to our third factor. Even if he loses, the international community is very likely to favor a partition of Libya, with him ruling the eastern half.
All right, now joining us, David Valadez. Hello, David.
Oh boy.
Yeah.
How's it going?
Well, we've seen you a number of times up until this point, but this is the first one that you won. Congratulations.
Yeah, thank you.
There was a number of questions, and you went for the international one. Do you tend to favor international topics?
I like to go for geopolitics because I play way too many grand strategy games.
Okay. Excellent. Well, the screen is yours for a moment.
Just want to thank my boys Jim and Tim, the coaches for Las Positas, and everyone on the team. Yeah.
Thank you very much, David. All right, our last individual event is Prose. Now, Prose is another oral interpretation event, and it's usually one of the first ones that a student will try if they're going to do oral interpretation. And the reason for that is the stories that are favored for this event are typically in first person, and there aren't as many character changes or programs that you have to follow. Typically, you find stories in short stories or in novels. This was also a very large category, and we're going to recognize the top 6 speakers.
From Las Positas College, David Valadez, performing Spring Hill Jack by Richard Bachman.
My wife wants to know where I was last night, but I can't tell her because I don't remember.
From El Paso Community College, Daniel Gamboa, performing The Fireman by Peter DeMarco.
Stop across the street from my house that could only be described as dilapidated.
From College of the Canyons, Dylan Crawford, performing To the One That Got Away by Carrie Magro.
The day that she left was one of the most difficult days of my entire life. Because of it, I had a panic attack.
From Las Positas College, Adriana Marquez, performing Tick and Shout by Gail Giles.
Hi, I'm Alex, also known as Spaz Twitcher. But if you insist on calling me something beside Alex, Mousefur is my favorite. I have Tourette syndrome.
From Maricopa Speech Debate, Lindsay Gagnon, performing Almost
Her
Moon
hand
by Alice
on
Sebold.
top of a towel, on top of your face, smashing that face in, something inside of her hammering over and over again with a child's vendetta finally fulfilled.
From Santiago Canyon College, Colby Martin, performing We'll Have to Stop Now by Andy Christie.
I decide she can't help me anymore. She asks if I want a drink, and I say, sure, if you're having one. And she says, oh, I know the whole whiskey thing is totally unprofessional, but I've been struggling with a way to bring this up. Oh, I know what's coming.
Joining us, Colby Martin. Hello.
Hey, how's it going?
Yes, excellent. Tell me, how did you come across this piece?
Honestly, it was just a book that I bought on iTunes like a couple years ago.
You just came across it by buying? Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Excellent. All right, Colby. Why don't you take the screen for a moment?
Sure. Thank you, Jared. So yeah, I would just like to thank everyone that's been a part of this tournament, creating it for all of us forensic students who haven't been able to participate in national.
Oh. Oh no. Oh man. That is a shame, Colby. Listen, if this gets unstuck for a second, then we'll come back to you, okay? All right. Well, like I said, not everything is going to go to plan. This is our first time around. We really did try to make this special. We do have a couple of other recognitions that we want to have before we are done. Typically at awards ceremony, the last awards that are given out are sweepstakes awards. And while we didn't have any sweepstakes per se in the invite, we did want to acknowledge the top speakers and the top schools at this tournament. We wanted to recognize the top 3, okay? So what we did was we went through and we gave a point value to the different placements, and there are 3 top speakers. Our 3rd place top speaker was Brennan Mock. You probably saw him about 4 times throughout this ceremony, and every single time he was impressive and composed. 2nd place was Natalie Wellman from Concordia University, Irvine. Natalie, you saw she won 2 awards and accepted those as well. Our 1st place speaker, which was a tie but broken on speaker points, was Quincy Gentry. I wanted to let everybody know that was participating in this tournament that we are on Monday going to be mailing out all of the medals for this tournament, including those individual medals as well. Please make sure that you get your addresses, your shipping addresses in. Now, we do want to recognize 2 top teams from this tournament as well. In 2nd place, Concordia University, Irvine, and in 1st place, Las Positas College. They had a tremendously good entry into this tournament, and they did extremely well. Everybody, we want to thank you for being a part of this. It is a shame that the season had to end this way, but we hope that this perhaps offered a little bit of respite for what has been a very unnerving situation. Next year, we hope to do this again, but we also hope that the social distancing restrictions are going to be easing across the country as long as things are safe. So please keep an eye out for our asynchronous speech tournament, but we are also planning on adding an asynchronous debate tournament in multiple formats. If there's anything that you would like to know about our project at ProtoCommunications or Debate Sensei, you could always find us on our Facebook page, Debate Sensei. Go to protocommunications.com. But overall, we feel extremely proud and privileged to have served the community in some small way. So thank you all so very much for joining us. Okay? All right. Bye now, everyone.